You know what? No, I'm going to go no now. Aaron Judge is not a Hall of Famer. Pivoting from there, I just want to go over, and this is one of the reasons why Blue Jays fans maybe don't feel as good about this season as they should, because this team is most likely going to finish with 91 or 92 wins, right on par with where they were last year. The Blue Jays have not won 90-win seasons back-to-back since their dynasty years in 92, 93. So this is really impressive stuff that they're doing. So a quick review. Some of us had high expectations for Yusei Kikuchi when they went out and signed him to a 3-year deal. Obviously, that was a pretty big letdown. Hyunjin Ryu, we were hoping for a bounce-back season from after an injury-marred to 2021 and maybe a bit of a down season for him. That didn't work out. He wound up needing to get season-ending Tommy John surgery. Charlie Montoyo was fired. I mean, just these top 3 things is a pretty tumultuous start to any list. But it goes on from there. They had a down year from 2021 for Vladdy, big time, right? Like the expectations that we had on this young 23-year-old superstar that is the offensive engine of this Toronto Blue Jays team was massive. I mean, let's face it, man. We were doing over-unders on if he hits 50 home runs or not. He's had not a bad little season. He
got to 30, right?
He got to 30. He just hasn't been 2021 Vladdy. Trade deadline. Quieter for the team than maybe some of us had hoped. Maybe more than most of us had hoped, despite the moves definitely bolstering this bullpen, and the bullpen kind of riding the ship and looking pretty good at the final bit of the season. Bo Bichette has gone from pedestrian and average to a top 3 baseball player in the league in September. Alek Manoah has solidified himself at the top of the Blue Jays starting rotation with a Cy Young caliber season. I want to just circle back on Vladdy here because friend of the show, Chris Black, pointed this out. This is one of the more eye-catching things about last year. So in 194 plate appearances in minor league stadiums, Dunedin and Buffalo, Vladdy Jr. hit 21 home runs, which accounted for 43% of his home runs last season. And that was about in a third of the season. In 11 of 96 plate appearances in Dunedin, he hit a bomb. In 10 of 98 plate appearances in Buffalo, he hit a bomb. So the shorter dimensions definitely helped. I'm not saying this is why Vladdy had such a huge 2021 season, but I think it's silly to ignore that. And maybe Vladdy is a 30 to 40 home run hitter, not a 40 to 50 home run hitter. I'll take it. It's fine.
I mean, on the one hand, yeah. On the other hand, home runs, offense was down across baseball this year. Also, he's 11 years old? Like, he has time to mature and hit his prime still. He's pretty young. So to think that he has just peaked in terms of his power, I wouldn't buy into that.
You ask Yankee fans, and he's already peaked. He's a fatty who just isn't Aaron Judge. But we'll get into my dislike of Yankees fans recently. But you make a really good point, man. Like if you look at most guys' prime, Francisco Lindor, right? 28 years old, having a career season right now. Like these guys that are young, baseball is skewed so young in the last decade. And they have, you'll see guys have a big season at 22, 23, and then in 28, at age 28, have an incredible season. And you're like, oh yeah, I forgot the prime of most guys is that 27, 28, 29 season, right?
Yeah. Lots to like about what Vladdy's done. Can I talk a little bit of love for Mr. Matt Chapman? Because
please,
just watching the Mariners-Rangers game yesterday and seeing Marcus Semien hit 2 home runs. And I mean, we talked about this a little while ago, but Marcus Semien didn't hit his first home run until
May 27th.
I was gonna say the All-Star break, but yeah, it was like mid-May. But the first 2 months of the season was that like the narrative out of Texas was really quite concerning, right? Hadn't hit a home run yet. We're 2 full months into the season now. Since he got his first one, though, he's got 26 home runs. Very impressive. This season, however, Matt Chapman has 27 home runs. I mean, I said he could fit into this lineup and bring 30 home run potential to this lineup. He's not going to get there. He's not going to get to 30. But
famous last words.
I hope I'm reverse jinxing him. Right?
Yeah.
I really, really hope so. But like he's second on the team in home runs right now. I'm looking at the list, right? It's Vladdy with 30, Matt Chapman with 27. You scale that 26. Up to I mean, I'm thrilled with Matt Chapman in this lineup. The batting average, again, was really scary in the first month or two of the year. He was hitting, I think, a few points below 200. It's up to 231 right now.
Yeah, he looks good. His OPS is solid. He's a guy who's going to he's a guy who has solidified the left side of that infield, which was in 2021 the Blue Jays' biggest Achilles heel was that third base position, and he's been absolutely unbelievable, man.
So the Blue Jays bought out his arb years before the season started, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have him for next season. We have him for the year after, and then he's a free agent. Do you see an extension coming for Matt Chapman before then, or is this?
I want an extension. I do not wish to see him go to free agency in 2024. Personally, I think that they're.
So we have him on the books for 2 more years. How many years do you want to commit to Matt Chapman? 4 years?
Do they have him on the books for 2 more years? I thought it was just next year he's a free agent.
Pretty sure. I'll look this up. You talk.
Yeah, just double check for me. Yeah, no, just double check for me. Irrelevant though. I mean, I shouldn't say that. It's obviously relevant. However, it doesn't change my opinion that they should absolutely be negotiating with him an extension. I think that he's one of those guys that you can get without needing to give all sorts of term, right? I think you can lock him up for 4 years.
Okay, you are right. It is next year we have him, and then the year after he is a free agent. So he's going into the final year of his contract this offseason.
I mean, we've talked about this a little bit, Adam, where you look at the Blue Jays farm system, and there's not really, especially after trading Jordan Groshans in that Anthony Bass and Zach Pop trade at the deadline, there isn't really anyone pushing this team to open up a spot at third base. I love Aroldis Martinez. He's young. And he has some big holes in his game that need to be addressed before he is promoted even to AAA, I think. I think that they're going to start him at AA again next year. I'm not saying that he won't get the call up to AAA at some point in 2023. However, Aroldis Martinez has struggled with plate discipline, as a lot of 22-year-olds do. He has struggled with his on-base percentage, as a lot of 22-year-olds do. So I think there's a lot of room to grow there for Aroldis Martinez. Go ahead, Adam.
What position is that left-handed kid, Addison Barger? Barger? Is it a soft G?
Yeah. Addison Barger plays short. He plays some third. He plays some outfield.
Really burst onto the scene towards the end of the year. Kind of under the radar until I've been hearing his name thrown about a lot in the last month, I would say. So
22 years old.
He's 20. Well,
22 is he? Okay.
Yeah, it says 22 here. 6 foot, plays shortstop, bats left, throws right. 308 batting average this year, 26 home runs, 933 OPS, and 9 stolen bases. That is across a few. I think most of that was in AA, though. Let me just double check that.
It was. He recently was called up to AAA, although he has hit a couple bombs in AAA already. The kid's got skills.
Okay, so looks like he started the season in Vancouver, 14 home runs there. Got promoted to Double-A, played 47 games, hit 9 home runs. He's played now 8 games in Triple-A, has 3 home runs. 3 home runs in 8 games at Triple-A. That is very encouraging. I mean,
yes, it is.
Wicked small sample size, I will admit that. But very nice. Addison Barger, that is someone who we are going to have to blow up his DMs and try and get him on the show.
Oh, I have been.
Okay, you're on it, Scott.
I've been messaging him since last year, but I don't know. I know that Chris Black was talking to him. So I was thinking of maybe bugging Chris and seeing if he can give us an email or something where we can
into the DMs for sure.
Slide into the right DMs. That's right.
Cool.
That said, man, Matt Chapman is 29 years old. I would take Matt Chapman's age 29, 30, 31, and 32 season at $15 to $20 million a season over rolling the dice on a prospect every single time. I really do believe that they should be trying to extend this man in the offseason. You?
Yeah, it's too risky for me to put a playoff team in the middle of their window and just put a vacuum at third base, just an absolute hole out there of mystery. Like, unless we go out and we get a Carlos Correa and we can convert him to third base or something, but I don't think
also,
let's
be serious. Let's be serious. There is a question mark at second base. I love Santiago Espinal. I love Kevin Biggio. I'm even a pretty big I'm a pretty big fan of this Addie Barger. I think that he does have all sorts of potential. He plays a good shortstop. He plays multiple positions. If he is pushing this organization to find a spot for his bat in this lineup, it is absolutely doable. You can move Bo Bichette from short to second, or you can move Santi, put him on the bench and see if Addy can take his job. You know, like, there are options. He plays left field. He's a lefty bat. Lourdes and Teo have the possibility of maybe being moved in the offseason with only 1 year left on each of their contract. There is room for this kid to maybe make a splash with the team come 2023. I don't think we need to pigeonhole him at third base just because Matt Chapman is possibly leaving in the 2024 offseason.
Do you think Santiago Espinal has a long-term future with this Blue Jays team?
No. Do you?
I love Espinal. I love him this
too.
Year. We've talked. We don't have to get too lost in the weeds here as we wrap up the ups and downs section of this podcast. But we've talked before about a potential significant shakeup of this roster construction in the offseason. I wouldn't be shocked if Santiago Espinal was one of the pieces that gets moved. I think he's young. He's got a lot of control left.
Mm-hmm.
Was an all-star this year. I think for any like young, low budget team on the rebuild, there's a lot of appeal to Santiago Espinal.